we just typically spend more money in November and December than we do the entire year. I do want to be more intentional with the gifts that we give, not just our kids, but like our friends and family too. We always end up just like overspending. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to our November financial reset video. We are officially in November. It's November 1st today. I did want to start off by addressing the elephant in the room that I did not upload on October 1st. I did record it, but I didn't edit it and post it because by the time I was able to like get around to editing it, the opportunity had passed. We have 2 months left in the entire year. How is that possible? I am a little bit sad to say goodbye to October, especially because I haven't even had a slice of pumpkin pie yet, but that will change this month. Before we even get into the numbers, I wanted to just take some time to talk about how I'm feeling towards money in general. I did write some things down because I'm bad at keeping things in my mind. So the first thing I wrote was that I'm starting to think of the 2025 financial goals and I'm reflecting on our 2024 progress. One of our goals this year was to save $45,000 and we're so close to hitting that. Well, we're $8,000 off, but if you reposition that and say we've saved $35,000, that's incredible. Whatever progress we make between now and the end of the year is just getting us even closer to that goal. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be upset if we didn't hit the goal, but to move forward and achieve and make progress on your goals, you do have to set something that's attainable but challenging. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now. We're doing a little reflecting, and I think along with that, I'm starting to feel excited to see what progress we can make between now and the end of the year. I also will say that I'm feeling a bit nervous with the holidays. I mean, we just typically spend more money in November and December than we do the entire year. I do want to be more intentional with the gifts that we give, not just our kids, but like our friends and family too. We always end up just like overspending. The other thing that I'm feeling is grateful. I feel so grateful to be able to look back and see how much we've been able to save this year. I remember vividly, like several years back thinking, okay, if we can save $1,000 a month, we'll have $12,000 by the end of the year. And that number just seemed so huge to me, like astronomical. I was like, that's crazy, $12,000. And now we're sitting here and it's not even the end of the year and we've already saved $35,000. That wasn't more than like 5 years, maybe like 6 years ago. It definitely was pre-COVID, but time is weird. It goes by fast. We are going to jump into the spreadsheet now because I don't want this video to be like 100 hours long. So let's go ahead and jump in. So this month we made a total of $17,967. Of course, there is some extra income coming in that isn't just coming from our 9-to-5, and we'll get to that in just a bit. But our expenses are also $18,383. This includes everything that we've spent, everything that came out of our checking account this month, including savings and investments. One thing that I noticed last month was that my paycheck has increased by like $300-ish. I was delightfully suspicious, I guess. I did look into this and it turns out that there's this tax called Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance Tax. And I learned that there's basically an amount that you have to pay for the entire year. And once you reach that amount, you don't have to pay that tax until the new year starts. So for the last 4 months of this year, I'm just enjoying like a little pay increase of $700 a month, which is really, really great. We also received an interest payment of $561. This is the money that we're getting from our high yield savings account. I did not get any restricted stock units this month. We do have some coming up next month though. We also did dog sitting. I wasn't expecting to do this, but one of the families reached out to us last minute and we made $150 from that. I sold my stock from the employee stock purchase plan. Our bills are pretty much the same, so they came out to be $2,753. Nothing has really changed here. This includes our rent, which is $2,400, and things like our auto insurance, disability insurance, term life insurance, and our pet insurance for Bear. Something that I started this month as well is color coordinating some of these different expense buckets. So everything that is that is in white is considered a need, and everything that is in pink is considered a want. I really wanted to understand why we weren't hitting our budget. I'm determined to figure out if this is truly a spending issue or if it's a budgeting issue and I should be increasing our budget in certain categories. Whenever there's a number or a goal that's super unattainable and I set that goal and obviously I'm not going to hit it, I just like blow past it and I do even more damage than what I probably would have done if I set a higher but more attainable number. So I did calculate what our needs, wants, and savings distribution or spread was this month, and we'll get into that in a bit as well. So our subscriptions and memberships have also pretty much stayed the same. So we spent a total of $419 in that category. This includes things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, my Aura ring. This also includes my gym membership, which I will admit that I have not gone to a single fitness class in the past 2 months. So that includes October and September, okay? And I've spent this $144 for each month. So that's like $288 that have just gone out the window because I have not gone to the gym. And I feel guilty, of course. I feel guilty because one, I should be getting my butt to the gym. It's good for me and my health and my mental. It also just really sucks to be spending money on something you're not using. So I decided that I'm going to cancel this because I am starting to walk more and I do enjoy that. And I also just don't believe in paying for something that is not serving you in this moment of life. It's just not my thing right now. I'm enjoying my walks right now and I'm not going to force myself to do something that I don't like to do. And then we have things like LinkedIn Premium, the Little Gym, which is like a Gymboree for my youngest daughter, and she loves it. And then CapCut, which I use to edit this video for you guys. We are going to move over to our expense category. So this is where we have variable expenses, right? Our bills and our subscriptions are pretty much going to stay the same from month to month unless I'm adding something new or removing something like I will be in December. But yeah, these are fixed expenses. They're pretty much in line. Debt is also a fixed expense because we always pay the same amount every single month. And the two areas that are variable will of course be our expenses here and our savings. One of the goals that I had for October was to hit our grocery and eating out budget. This is because when I was looking at our annual totals, I noticed that groceries and eating out were like neck and neck. In fact, eating out was a little bit higher than our groceries, which we don't want to see. I would rather that we spend more on our grocery budget to make like meal prep, make healthy meals at home, because we definitely shouldn't be eating out that much. And the other slightly alarming thing is that typically when we eat out, it's going to be like fast food places. It's just not healthy. So really tried to prioritize that this month and we did good. We actually came underneath our eating out budget. So we set out to have a $600 budget and we only spent $458. Again, this is a family of 4. So my husband and our 2 girls. And I think this is a really good number. I will, however, say that we did go on I guess like a 5-day trip. We did do a lot of eating out there. I did not capture that eating out in this expense category. I captured it in the travel category. So maybe it's not like a super accurate reflection of how often we ate out, but I do think this is good. We also were more intentional with our grocery shopping. So we definitely used a lot of what we purchased. We were definitely more mindful about not just buying random things, but buying something with a meal idea in mind, if that makes sense. So that was good. I think we spent less on groceries. Again, it did create more like trips to the grocery store because there were some things that we forgot and like some things that we needed that we didn't have at home. But I think ultimately it worked out and we only went over budget by $109. I think this typically falls around $1,200 or $300. So I'm happy with it, but I'm super happy with making sure that we're coming under a budget with eating out. Fuel, we budgeted $600 and we ended up spending $701. gas is expensive. Every time I look at this, I'm like, how do we spend this much money on gas? And this is not really a category that I try to really budget. I just like to have an idea of what we can possibly, like what we can expect to spend in this category so that I can have a better idea of what our budgeting numbers can be for other categories. Shopping, we spent $298. So we did come under budget by $1, which is awesome. So what I did was I did separate clothing and shopping. Usually they were, in previous months, I had them in the same category, but clothing is now down here on its own. So shopping is like random things, basically anything that we buy that is not food and is not clothes. Bought like a notepad and a pen. These like cookies from Target that we can decorate. They were like Halloween themed. Random things like a cable charger, a cooling towel. I also bought a couple things from Nordstrom. So I got these gift cards from work. I want to show you guys what I got. I was looking for my fragrance, my new signature scent. I got these Tom Ford miniature fragrance, like this discovery set. This one is so yummy. It smells like coconut. It smells like you're on a beach. It smells like summer in a bottle. It's gonna sound weird, but it also has like a little hint of sunscreen. It smells like I'm in the Bahamas on a beach sipping on a pina colada with like a slight sunburn on my cheeks. It is so tasty. This one is also so good. It's called Lost Cherry. I can get lost in these scents, honestly. So this to me smells like a straight up cherry pie, but without like the sweetness. It's more like on the tarty side. Fun, it's flirty and playful, but it's also like dangerous and mysterious too. It's so good. But I have heard that this scent doesn't last as long. And quick tip, the way to make this last is putting like a neutral lotion underneath before you put on your fragrance, and it will last twice as long. This is what I got from Nordstrom's and I'm so happy. So entertainment, we spent $187 on that, and that was all Halloween stuff. I included the cost of our Halloween costumes in this, also like all the pumpkin carving things, the little Halloween party that we had to buy tickets to, and it was all super fun. So all the Halloween stuff really kind of fell into this category. Our home bucket, we went over budget. So we budgeted $100. I was expecting we only needed to refill on like maybe shampoo and conditioner, just like a couple things. But it turns out that this was the month that I chose to replace a lot of things that I've been meaning to replace. I replaced our butter dish that had been broken. And I bought like a French bell butter dish. It keeps your butter super fresh. I love it. We also replaced our salt and pepper shakers, and then we religiously use our electric water kettle. And one day I went to go and make my coffee and it wasn't turning on. And it's because the whole bottom part melted. I didn't even know that was possible. I have no idea how that happened. We instantly replaced that thing because we use it for our coffee. We use it for our coffee, our hot chocolate. We love it. Yeah, I had to replace a bunch of random things in the house. Oh, and now our shower head just broke the other day. Do you guys ever feel like whenever there's something that breaks in the house, just like all the other little appliances like follow? Gifts. Okay, so gifts, we budgeted $50. We went over budget by $408. Okay, so I budgeted $50 because nothing came to mind this month. However, we were surprised with several things. So first we had a housewarming party, which ended up turning into a surprise engagement party for my niece. The day before, my sister-in-law got engaged too. I ended up taking my friend out to a early birthday dinner, so that happened as well. And then my sister-in-law ended up graduating from her dental program too. So there were just so many surprise things happening where we bought gifts for people because like, what? Like we were not expecting all this to happen, but it was so fun. Like there was so much that happened this month. It was such a memorable month. Like there were so many things to celebrate. And I love when that happens. It was really joyful in that sense. So I never feel guilty with this category. I love buying gifts for people. We'll see what this coming month brings, but yeah, unexpected expense, but definitely really fun. Pets was also an unexpected category, if you will. So I was just expecting to get Bear some food, but we did end up getting him fully groomed. Bear, come here. Up, up. Come in, up. Come here, you handsome boy. He is so fluffy. He's such a sweet boy. He really, really is. And then wellness, we budgeted $250. We spent $373. This is because I got my nails done twice this month, at the very beginning and now at the very end. So I'm hoping in November it's just like a one-time thing, but I do want to get my nail, like a nail category that's separate from wellness, because I think there were some other things here, like our gym membership for my husband. He has like a 24-hour membership that he only has to pay $50 a year for. And that came out this month. And then there were also just like some supplement things that we bought too. Miscellaneous category, $300. We spent $1,683. Something happened with my car. It was making like a really strange sound. I asked my husband, I'm like, how expensive does that sound? Is that a couple $100 sound? Is that like a couple $1,000 sound? It was like 1,100 and something, 1,144. We ended up having to fix the car. I honestly can't remember or tell you what was wrong with it, but it's fixed. It's working fine now. My husband is also taking some classes, so that was also a miscellaneous expense. And then just like random things. We also went to Mexico. So my husband and I did 2 days in San Diego, and then we went to Mexico with my coworkers. That was definitely a YOLO trip. We went to a really fancy steakhouse, very last minute. It was so delicious though. When we make one YOLO decision, another YOLO decision will usually follow. And then that whole entire weekend or trip ends up being just like a splurge. That certainly happened here. We went to a couple of very nice places, but this is another category that I don't feel guilty about. I think a lot of people actually follow suit with this because this is more an experience and there's memories involved and it's time that you're spending with your husband or close family members or friends. It's something that I truly just don't feel shameful for. So yeah, we went over budget by $700, and that of course also came out of the money that we would put into our savings. Giving, we spent $51. We budgeted $39. So we now do World Vision. So I was going to show you guys. This is Dalin. She lives in Cambodia. She's 9 years old. And the membership that we have with World Vision basically sends the money that we donate to her and her family on a monthly basis. Also, the girls love being able to like see her picture, and we are going to be able to write to her soon. So that's going to be really fun. And we just started that last month. Coffee is a new category that I have started tracking too. I don't really I just threw $100 out there because just to like put some type of budget number in. We ended up spending $146. This doesn't just include me, it doesn't just include my husband, but we also usually buy the girls something when we go to the coffee shop too, whether that's like a drink for them or like a bakery item or like a breakfast type of thing. I think that we do spend more money on coffee or like coffee shops in the wintertime, especially the holidays when they have like fun little treats and drinks. And in the summertime, I'm like, we could probably switch this category out for boba because we're like at the boba shop like every single day in the summertime. And then lastly, clothing, we budgeted $200. We spent $228. I think we bought some little like striped sweaters from Target. Me and my daughter both got matching ones. Violet got some socks. My husband got some pants and underwear from Target. He's probably going to be like, did you really have to say that? He's watched these videos before and has said that like I share too much, but I think that's what makes them fun. At least like that's why I like watching other people's videos, because I like to understand what they spend their money on. I want the nitty-gritty details. I want to know how you felt when you bought that. Do you have buyer's remorse? Do you regret it? Do you not regret it? Like I like to know that. I feel like I'm shopping with them. I don't know if that's a normal thing, but we'll see if he actually watches the videos. That could be a good test. Finally, Our debt, we are in line with what we expect to pay. Again, these are loans that I don't have an interest on, so I'm not rushing to pay them off as long as I pay them off before the promotional period so that I don't have to pay interest on. I'm fine with that, and that's basically how my monthly payment is calculated. So as you can see, bills, subscriptions, and debt are all fixed expenses. Expense category is variable, and savings is also variable. So this is what I love to talk about. I love to see what we saved for the month because this is ultimately what's going to get us to reach our goals and realize some of our, not even financial goals, but just like lifestyle goals that we have, whether that's buying a car, buying a house, saving for retirement, achieving financial freedom. First and foremost, I would have liked to see this be a little bit higher given that we did cash out the restricted stock units this month, and that was almost $3,000 alone. How do I say this? It's not necessarily what I see on paper. It's more, I want to instill the behavior of when we make extra money, we're using that money to save more and we're not using that money to inflate our lifestyle. Over time, that's going to make such a huge difference. When you start to make more and you're using that money to save more, you're going to get so much further in your financial goals than you would be by just using that extra money to inflate your lifestyle. And I know it is so hard not to do. I have certainly seen, just like over the past couple years of being aware of our finances, how our spending habits have changed when we start to make more money. And it's so hard not to fall into that mindset. These are the little things that may not make a big difference in this immediate month, but it's going to make a world of difference over the course of the year, especially the next 5, 10, 15 years. Emergency fund, we don't contribute anything to it because we are happy with where it sits at right now. These are our investments. These are our retirement accounts, as well as my daughter's college accounts. I didn't contribute anything to vacation fund because we went on vacation. Didn't contribute anything to Christmas fund. I wanted to because it would be so nice to be going into this month with money aside set for Christmas shopping, but now we are going to have to pull Christmas shopping directly out of the income that we make in the month of November and December, which is fine. Not ideal, but it's fine. And furniture is just going to have to wait because that is not a priority right now. We have so many things coming up in the next couple months. And honestly, I am going to be prioritizing holidays and putting our funds towards that, but also savings is going to come next. So we can focus on furniture in the new year. I really am striving to hit our financial goal for 2024, even though we've already made great progress and I'm happy with where we're at already. It's just fun to try to hit a goal. I did calculate my needs, wants, and savings. We spent a total of $4,812 on our needs. That came out to be 27%, which is awesome. That's way under the 50% benchmark. This is obviously because our rent is not astronomically high for Silicon Valley. We are really lucky in that regard, and we're able to use that extra money that we would be spending on rent in different categories like our wants and our savings. Our wants was pretty high this month because we had that miscellaneous car expense and we also had our trip. The top numbers here represent those two outlier expenses. The bottom numbers here represent this budget without those two outlier expenses. I wanted to include both because I think there will always be some type of outlier expense for any given month. I mean, we only have 12 months in a year. The great thing to take away is that our savings is still 30%, even with those higher expenses, because we have the luxury of being able to save a little bit on rent. So this gives us more wiggle room to be able to save more. So I love to see that we're not just putting that wiggle room towards our wants, but we're also putting it towards our savings bucket as well. And then if we aren't going to count the fixing the car and the trip, this is what that spread looks like. It's 36% for needs, 23% for wants, 41% for savings. I'm definitely going to start to use this guidance to actually figure out numbers that would be more attainable for us here. It feels weird to go through these numbers and start increasing them. But again, the whole point of having a budget is to have an attainable goal, something that is realistic for you and your family to reach, I'm able to be more successful with something that I know is a little challenging, can be a little bit uncomfortable, but is doable. That is where we are. So I did already set my numbers for November. We are expecting our normal paychecks as well as our interest rate. We are going to be doing some dog sitting. I don't know exactly how much I can expect from that, but I just put 200, being conservative. I'm also going to get some stock vesting from my company as well, some RSUs. I just don't know if I'm going to cash them out this month. It will all depend on where the stock price is. So I'm not going to put anything here for now. And if I do end up cashing it out, I'm really going to try to put that directly into our savings without even thinking twice. Certainly not using it for anything else. It might be a little bit difficult because we are going to be Christmas shopping. November is going to be a high spend month, but that is my intention. Our bills will stay the same, as well as our subscriptions and memberships. Starting December is when this will not be counted. So I did already have to pay for the month of November. And I am going to try to get my butt to some of those fitness classes. I definitely know it will be good for me. Groceries, I increased it by 100 just to be a little bit more realistic, especially with these grocery prices. It is insane out here. I'm actually going to increase it to 1,200. Eating out, I put at 700 because it is my birthday month and I know we're going to go to some fancy restaurant and we want to have the budget for that. Fuel is going to stay at 600. Shopping, I increased to 1,000 because this is the Christmas shopping that's going to be happening this month. I like to finish my Christmas shopping before December, so this may even go up. I just like put $1,000 just as a baseline. If I go crazy and buy everyone's Christmas present this month, this obviously will be above $1,000. But right now I'm just going to keep it at that because I don't know what the plan is. I haven't started. Entertainment, we're keeping at 200. Home will be 100. Gifts, again, we're going to set it at 50 just because I don't anticipate any, instead of having the shopping budget be 1,000 here, I'm going to put this back to 200 and I'm going to put this at 900. Well, no, I'll just put it at 1,000. So this will represent Christmas shopping and this will be like our normal like shopping expenses. Pets will stay at 75. Wellness will stay at 250. Miscellaneous is still going to be 300. We're not going anywhere, so travel is 0. We're keeping giving at 39. Coffee at 150 and clothing at 400. Savings, we're going to try to save $3,000. And all of these are consistent with previous months. And I do want to start putting some money into our vacation fund. We don't have anywhere in mind, but when we do go somewhere, it's probably going to be around $4,000 or $5,000. So it takes time to start building this fund. And I want to have something by the time we reach spring and summer months. So we do need to start now. So I am going to be contributing $500 to that this month. And then we have our regular debt payments, which is again the same as normal. But I feel good. I feel happy with what we did in October, aside from us not hitting our budget. But this next month, I am going to really try to stick with the new budget that we set in place. I feel like we still may need to like massage this in the month of December, move things around, increase our budget in some areas, which again is so strange because it goes against all instinct. But if there is room in our needs, wants, and savings distribution to be able to increase some of these categories and make them more realistic and attainable, of course, I'm happy to do that. Who doesn't want to spend more money in certain categories? No, it's not about spending more money because clearly we're spending the money already, but it's about having a budget that actually aligns with our behaviors. And we're making sure that our goals are realistic, are attainable, and achievable, because that ultimately is what's going to keep us motivated to move forward. I hope this video isn't too long when I cut it and edit it and everything. But thank you again for joining this month's financial reset video. I'm so excited to see how this month goes. And I think it's just such a fun time of year to be able to enjoy family and friends, but also reflect on all the progress that you did the year before and start thinking about what you want to achieve in this coming year, because we've got 2 months. That's plenty of time to do some reflection, some goal setting, and maybe even get a head start to some of the goals that you have in mind for 2025. That's crazy to say, 2025? What? Okay, well, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe if you enjoy this content. I will go ahead and link my budgeting template down below. I just get it off of Etsy and I do some customization. And I encourage you to give it a shot if you haven't already. Honestly, if you're going to start tracking your expenses, you don't need to begin on the first of the month. You can begin whenever. You can retroactively go back and look at all of your transactions and just input that into the budget. So you can literally start whenever. You don't have to wait for the beginning of the month. So keep that in mind. It's not an excuse. It is just so helpful. It just brings such a sense of assurance. And I don't know what it is, not comfort, but just knowing where all of your ducks are and feeling confident to make any financial decision that comes your way. I will stop the video here. I do appreciate you guys watching though, and I'll see you next time. Footage of me was like blurry coming in and out. So we're just gonna re-record it and no one's gonna know. How would they know unless I tell them? I'm on a salary pace. Salary? I'm on a and I'm on a salary. Why is this so freaking hard for me to say that? I'm on a salary play. I'm on a salary play. Yo, I get paid salary. Do the hair flip. Pose for the thumbnail.